We're going to talk about the common era. I can read Genesis 24 and 25. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Eve chose to serve the serpent with her nakedness, okay? And this was a spiritual death because she cleaved to Satan, and then she had a spiritual death. And that's why it says knowing good and evil, because the only good and evil is if we use our spiritual marriage. Because when it's talking about cleaving to his wife, you're either cleaving to a clean spirit, which is sanctified by God, or you're cleaving to an unclean spirit, which is sanctified by the serpent. So, which one have we chosen to do in our life? Well, this is why this is called the common error. Because many of us, the first time that our flesh was cleaved unto a husband and a wife, it was with an unclean spirit that was from Satan. It wasn't from God. And so what happens with generations after generations after generations is that unclean spirit cleaves to another unclean spirit, then cleaves to another unclean spirit. And it talks about this in the generations. How this happens is it multiplies over and over and over again. And that's where we are right now. Because when you are reborn, you no longer see what God used for creation in our nakedness. You no longer see it as evil. You see it as the way God sees it. You see it as women are created for life, to give life. And I'm just going to share my personal testimony. So this happened to me, okay? And so I'm part of the common era. What happened to me was the first time that I cleaved with a man as my husband, it's a spiritual marriage, okay? It is a spiritual marriage. It wasn't a choice that I just made, okay? It was me being influenced by worldly influences. I was out at a party, I was drinking, I was alone with someone, and it just happened. And this is what I'm talking about, the unclean spirit, because it talks about that in here. And the way that the unclean spirit first comes to us, which is the serpent, is he will bring us into his world, and we will adopt the worldly ways of living, and then he will take the most precious thing that God gives us for life and turn it against us and against God. This is the way that he loves to take us down at the most precious part that God gives us for his glory. Now I can say that you can come back and do it different, and you will have a different experience. Because now when I see my nakedness, I see it as the way God does for bearing children and for life. I'm too old to have children now. I can teach this though, how you can attract clean spirits, or how you can get rid of the unclean spirits that have been passed down from generation to generation. And that's why we're in Genesis, and that's why it's called the common era.